West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, it's 7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Man, last night, Taste of Douglas County, so many people coming up to chat about how this show has become part of their daily news consumption.
It was amazing.
Right? And their worldview shaping. And what was unique was how many people are interested in the dynamic between Bill and I. Right? They didn't necessarily talk about a particular debate or a segment of the show or anything like that. They're just like, how do you guys do it to the point you don't kill each other? And I'm like, well, there are days.
Yeah, there are mornings.
Believe me. And I think...
normally from what I do to Jeff. I have to own this personally. I have to be honest and own this.
No,
it's 100.
It's not just you. There's times I'm like, I'm going to pin Bill down on this. Yes or no, Mr. Thorpe?
Yes, you will. Yep.
And I think it stems from we're both men of faith. So our relationship with God matters a lot to us. We're both husbands. We're both fathers of 4. And so there's a lot of craziness in our lives. We're just doing our best to keep it around. And then most importantly, there's not a lot of job options out there.
No.
So we make this one fail.
Yes.
We're doing some other stuff.
I'm going to have something that has a name tag with it.
Exactly. So we're
fantastic.
like, we just can't storm out. That's part of the dynamic too.
But part of that is it's the what this exists here. And what I appreciate is that a couple of people last night that talked about how they can't listen to other talk radio after our show because it becomes listening to someone just talk at them. There's no conversation. There's no in-depth. There's no exploration. There's no asking questions about why, what, and there's nothing like what Jeff does. Just answer yes or no. There's none of that. And so the dynamic is completely and totally different. And we try to do something that's unlike anything else out there. And what I also appreciated is the classic radio station listeners that we were able to talk to that appreciated what we were doing. I talked to a dude that moved into our state in the 70s, another one that was born in early 70s, and talked about coming up and listening to talk radio in Denver and how, they were groomed on Peter Boyles and Alan Berg, and you had Kelly and Company with Steve Kelly, you had Andrea Van Steenhouse, and they talked about the evolution of who was doing talk radio in Denver, and they said, this is something that is new, but is also something that is old. And so it leans into what KOA, what used to be as far as classic talk radio, by also bringing it forward and making it modern. They really appreciated that. So it's great.
And it was really fun to have people pull me aside and go,
yes,
I agree with you.
Like
they wanted me to know, but they didn't necessarily want to broadcast it around Bill.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you had people that pulled you aside and were like, I really like listening to you, but I don't understand. I can't stand Jeff.
Actually, probably you had a lot more telling you that than me, and I accept that. In fact, I told a number of people if we got to a point where a large portion of the audience would start agreeing with me, I would start figuring out what the hell have I done? How? Because that's never happened in my life. It never happens, and I understand that. What I appreciated, there was one woman that came up, and she leaned in close, and she said, "You're the reason I can still talk to my son now." And I went, "What?" She says, yes, he sees things much different than I do, etc. But listening to your show, I found a way to reconnect with my son, and now we can have conversations where she said years ago, we ended up just being mad and yelling at each other, and we wouldn't talk for days. She said, you now have me talking to my son, and we can hang out and enjoy each other and actually disagree without fighting. It was fantastic. That meant the most to me last night. Yeah.
That's great. Well, we've got a great hour. By the way, before we get into the hour, just thank you again to everybody that comes up. We always
thank you.
Always feel like you can approach us and talk, because it's great for us to hear from you, to hear what you like about the show, what we can improve. We're just trying to do this ourselves, guys. We've got a great team here at 710 KNUS who believes in it, but we need your feedback, text messages, phone calls, and when you see us out in person doing these events, which we're going to be at IHOP next Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., come say hi and hang out with us. That means the world to us.
Anytime, anywhere, come up and talk to us. Yeah, the fact that you would spend any amount of time with us during your day, I can't wrap my head around that at times. My wife doesn't want to listen to me this often.
We've got Representative Jeff Crank, member of Congress representing the Colorado Springs area, coming up. We're going to talk the special session in Congress. And is Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress to blame for the $1 billion budget deficit we're facing in the states? We're going to get to conversation directly from members of Congress. Now is time, though, for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
TGIF, good morning. 65, partly cloudy in Denver. Expecting a high of 84 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
You have police cars and FBI agents outside of John Bolton's home in Bethesda.
Ken Delaney and NBC News. There's a developing story this morning just outside of D.C. that involves DJT's former national security advisor, John Bolton, Mr. Mustache Man, who loves war, hates 47, and DJT doesn't care for him either.
An FBI spokesperson told me, I'm going to read the statement, quote, the FBI is conducting court-authorized activity in the area. There is no threat to public safety. We have no further comment.
FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, no one is above the law, but did not offer any details, but more than likely looking for classified documents early this morning before John Bolton starts eating his oatmeal.
Unsafe. We couldn't do it. We'd go out and you'd see the stories, you'd read the stories, you'd see all of the things that are happening. And they said we couldn't stand it, sir. And now I take my wife and my kids to dinner. One of them said he's gone out 4 nights in a row, and he hadn't gone out for 4 years.
47 says D.C. citizens are happy, and they're letting him know about it. DJT praising law enforcement. On Thursday, he met with officers, thanking them for cooperating with the federal takeover of the city's police as part of his crackdown on crime. He also handed out burgers and pizza to those patrolling the streets of the nation's capital.
So it's a great tribute to you. And when I look at you people, I understand why, because there's no games, right? We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital. And I guess it used to be many years ago safe, but it's certainly not had a very good run. And you got to be strong, you got to be tough, you got to do your job. Whatever it takes to do your job, you got to do your job. But the crime numbers are way down. I'm looking at you saw unsafe.
So he's happy with them. You know, I just figured this out. We had a taste of Douglas County last night, taste of D.C., and then now you have a taste of D.C. in D.C. All these people going to restaurants, enjoying the city again. Here are some more D.C. residents.
And I'm very appreciative of what Trump is doing. And I think everything that he's doing is helping D.C. as well as America.
At this point in my life, I think I'd rather move to another state.
How come?
Well, I've been shot 4 times, attacked so many times. I'm tired of it.
Well, hopefully.
That guy's been shot 4 times?
Shot 4 times.
Yeah, I'd move too.
And
if he gets shot a fifth time, he gets a free sub at Subway. Just kidding. What are the punch cards?
Jeez. I mean, you're not even going to give him Jersey Mikes or anything? I mean,
no, that's a budget. So many people are shot that many times, they can't go big. Yeah.
He may want to leave, but hopefully this is only the beginning. He won't have to worry about getting shot, man. That is horrible. All right. Officials say exposure to toxic gas may have killed 6 people at a dairy in Weld County earlier this week. The county's deputy chief coroner said Thursday the deaths are being investigated as possible gas exposure in a confined space. That is a sad story, and evidently, reportedly, there's a high school student who was one of the victims, went to Highland High School in Alt, I believe. The state park ranger, who we thought was attacked by another man, he said 6 foot, 200 pounds. That guy was invisible because the man who was stabbed, arrested for allegedly stabbing himself and then reporting it as an attack by a stranger. 26-year-old Callum Haskett said he was stabbed, and the investigators discovered inconsistencies in his statement. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office arrested Haskett Thursday on multiple charges. In Virginia, an older white progressive woman who has TDS, obviously, holding up a sign protesting Republican Virginia governor candidate Winsome Earl Sears. The sign read, "Hey, Winsome, if trans can't share your bathroom, then blacks can't share my water fountain." What? Winsome Earl Sears is a black woman, a conservative, and obviously the old white racist hippie either had no idea she was black or she's just dumb or stoned or something. Made no sense. The sign went viral. Commies need to do their homework a little better, I think.
Well, and that speaks to really the crux of the issue in these debates is what is immutable and what is not. Civil rights law protects things you just can't change. You can't discriminate based on sex. You can't race, religion, those types of things. And is your gender identity fall under that category? If you can just wake up one day and change your gender into one of the 90 or so genders that are out there, is it really something you can't change and needs to be protected in law? So that's why you see the left get this thing wrong.
Yeah,
they equate it to something that you can't change while admitting you could wake up any morning and change it.
Right, exactly. When you when you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Once again, remember the entitled woman in Rhode Island who used the AG card, the old AG card, while getting arrested for
she keeps kicking the door open for the cop car. Have you watched that whole video?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Her friend that just won't get in the cop car and keeps kicking it up.
Absolutely, I love it. So here, let's play it again in case people haven't heard this. I mean, it goes on for 5 minutes, but I'll play like 30 seconds here.
I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
She's an AG.
What's wrong with you? What are you probable cause to detain me for?
You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what? You have
Can you relax? Sir, she's not doing anything wrong.
AG.
She's not leaving.
I'm an AG.
She's an AG. Honey, you're not. She's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Okay,
arrested.
do you have any weapons on you?
No. I'm an AG.
Her badge is in the car. You want to go get a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Buddy,
arrested.
get the hell out.
I'm an AG. Her boss promises strong sanctions for Devin Hogan Flanagan, arrested for trespassing and resisting arrest. But she's an AG. You can't do that. And her friend was right with her. Her friend is, she's an AG. She's an AG. Oh, man. This world.
I'm gonna risk going somewhere that
I know where you're going.
Well,
I'm thinking the same thing.
All right. I find drunk women very annoying.
Same.
I mean, I don't know if that's where you're planning to go, but
kind of.
I am not one of those. I just listen to that and I'm like, golly, I've seen those people out there before, and they're just So annoying.
They are, man.
I'm sure drunk guys are annoying as well, but drunk women.
It's true.
Have y'all ever bartended?
No.
Really?
No,
oh,
you
that
have,
explains
though.
it. Yeah, that explains it. Yeah. Spent some time bartending. Lots of drunk people. And lots of drunk people trying to convince you they need more of the drunky.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and a lot of people sloppy. And yeah, when
you saw that video, did you just go, oh,
yeah. Took me back to my 20s. And I'm like, I have met you several dozen times. I have talked to you. I've walked you out of places. I've talked to you about why we can't do this. Yeah. Oh, so
lot
many
of women
times.
hitting on Bill.
No, not at all. No. But yes, it normally does take liquor for me to. I do need women to drink me pretty. So that does help. It's something I need. Yes.
Shicka-bow-bow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still fascinated that I found a woman to agree to marry me. So yes, I agree. Yes, that happens.
That's awesome. You're
All
beautiful,
right,
Bill. You're
we've
handsome.
got to pivot here just because he's on, and we got to be respectful of the congressman's time.
After that conversation,
yes,
you're so screwed.
I know.
Hang up!
Okay, yes, hang up. Don't be involved in this. Protect your reputation. Okay,
bye.
Okay, Blake. We'll catch you later.
Thank you, Blake Olson. Well, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show on 710 KNUS. Democrats at the state capitol are pointing the finger at Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress for Colorado's $1 billion budget shortfall. That's right. Jared Polis and the Democrats want you to believe that their record-breaking spending spree, their radical green energy mandates, and their sanctuary state policies somehow aren't to blame. But let's be honest, Colorado's budget has doubled. Our tax revenues are at a historic high, and yet because of out-of-control spending, Democrats are now crying poverty. Instead of tightening their belts like families have to, they're gearing up for another round of tax hikes, fees, and raids on Tabor refunds. Joining us now is Representative Jeff Crank. He represents the Colorado Springs area here in Colorado in Congress. Congressman, are you to blame for the $1 billion budget deficit here in Colorado?
Well, if you ask the Democrats, I suppose we are. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you talked about it, the record-breaking spending that we've had in Colorado. It's just out of control. And, let's be clear. And the reason that the One Big Beautiful Bill that we passed changed some of the revenue that comes into the state of Colorado is because we provided tax cuts to the American people. And, most of the tax cuts that were extended were already accounted for. So those aren't the real problems for the Democrats. The ones that the Democrats really are fussing about is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, increasing the child tax credit and indexing it for inflation, and senior tax exemption of $6,000. These are all the things that every Coloradan who makes under $150,000 a year, by the way, every one of those applies to folks who make $150,000 a year or less. That's what they're complaining about. And really what happened, Jeff, and I know you know this, but the fact that we lowered those taxes means that the federal adjusted gross income of Coloradans will be lowered. And therefore, when you start your Colorado tax return, the first question it asks you is, what was your federal adjusted gross income? Well, it's going to be lower because we lowered taxes. And so they're bulking about that. Well, how about cutting spending instead of talking about all these ways to increase taxes? I mean, there is no greater example of the difference between an out-of-control left Democrat cause and what we've been doing and what we did in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah, and here's what I think is important for people to understand. As you just perfectly explained, our tax rate is tied to the federal tax rate there. So there's less money going into the federal government because taxes have been reduced. So where did that money go? It didn't just disappear. That money is staying with you, people of Colorado. Yeah. And the Democrats at the Colorado State Capitol have less money coming to government because it's staying in your pocketbook.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, again, how about cutting benefits to illegals? How about stopping the war on oil and gas and allowing some revenue maybe to come in that way by letting oil and gas wells be drilled again? I mean, there's a million ways that they could actually get revenue into the budget without hurting people. And there's a million ways that they could continue to cut spending. But you said it best. I mean, they've been on a spending spree ever since they took unified control of our government, and they haven't taken their foot off the gas.
And I want to bring this up, this poll that was released earlier this week, CBS 4 covering it. And the number one concern of Coloradans is, one, the government doesn't work for them. And then two, everything is more expensive. Healthcare, education, food. It doesn't seem like our roads are getting there. Real estate taxes are going up. I mean, it just feels like everything is getting more expensive. The basic services aren't being delivered. Representative Jeff Crank, 5th Congressional District, Colorado Springs. What do you think is going through the mind of a voter right now? They've put Democrats in control of every aspect of Colorado government, with the exception of a handful of congressional districts. Yet they're frustrated about the direction of the state, of the cost of the state. Do you think they've connected yet the fact that everything's gotten more expensive since Democrats have gotten elected, and services have gotten worse? Has that connection been made?
Well, I hope so, Jeff. I mean, how could you not make it, right? And they've been given control, and we are one of the most regulated states. We're overregulated in Colorado. I was at a Colorado Chamber of Commerce event just last week, and they were talking about that. I mean, that's their main goal in the next session, is to try and get us to be a little bit less regulated of a state. I mean, look at healthcare. They've put mandates on what kind of health coverage can be issued. Look at our car insurance. All of these things are related to the overregulation that the left and the Democrats have done at the state legislature. And, what have they been focused on? They're focused on DEI. They're focused on taking away parental rights. They're focused on taking away gun rights. Rather than fixing Colorado for so many people, I went on a ride-along 2 nights ago. I was out carousing with the Fountain Police Department until almost 3 a.m. the other night with them. And they're frustrated. Our law enforcement's frustrated. They're arresting the same people time and time again. We arrested a guy who had 29 charges on his rap sheet, 29. And they arrested him again. And they said, well, he had some drugs, lots of drugs on him, but he didn't have enough of any one drug to qualify to actually have a charge against him. And that's something the Democrats did, was reduce, you don't even get charged if you have, I think, less than 4 grams of a certain drug on you. So it's crazy. The crime is out of control. All of this is happening because the left is worried about the wrong things. The Democrats have worried about the wrong things in the state legislature.
Gosh, that is exactly right. That's Representative Jeff Crank. He represents the Colorado Springs area in Congress, Washington, D.C. So you're doing ride-alongs. President Trump's doing ride-alongs. I've done a ride-along before. And, brother, I don't think I understood what it's like to be law enforcement until you do a ride-along, because in many ways you kind of feel like there's a target on your back, right? Everybody notices you. And you're just like, man, one crazy guy could do something. I mean, what was your sense during that ride-along? Have you done those before?
I have. I've done 5 ride-alongs with local law enforcement. I did a ride-along with our fire department. All since I've gotten elected, I've done those. I love doing them. I mean, they're fun. I'm a guy, by the way, Jeff, I've always watched, I could sit and watch cops for hours. I mean, I'm that kind of guy. But you know what? It's totally different when you're there. When you pull up behind a car and, the officer tries to shine that light into the back of the car and get some sense of what might be in that car. But when you step out and you open those doors and you start walking up, you have no idea on every single stop. You have no idea what's coming. You don't know if the back window's going to start blowing out because the guy's firing shots at you. You have no idea. And that's something that we take for granted every day, that our law enforcement does that for us. And by the way, when I talked about the no tax on overtime, those cops love it because so many of them get paid by overtime. And when I told them, hey, by the way, this is all retroactive to January 1st of 2025, they were just beside themselves. I mean, they know whose side the Democrats are on, and they know whose side the Republicans are on. Let's be honest, when it comes to law and order, they know, they understand. The police officers understand whose side each political party in Colorado is on.
That's Jeff Crank, member of Congress, joining Jeff and Bill live. I want to follow up. You just talked a little bit about the no tax on tips and no overtime taxes and those. If there's such a great idea, if it's such a boon to Colorado voters and the average working person, why do they sunset? Why were they not made permanent in the big, beautiful bill?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of money. Hi, Bill, by the way. It's a matter of money. I mean, we had to balance because if we'd have made all of those things permanent, then you guys would have complained on the left even more about it. I mean, it's a balancing act of trying to get all of this in, and we felt that it was very much more important to make sure that capital gains, that the doubling of the standard exemption, those things were made permanent. And we thought it was much more important to get that stuff done so that there could be investment in the United States. We would have loved to make all of that permanent. But, again, the difference here is we made those tax cuts, and I'd love to make them permanent. They're going to expire if we don't do something in a couple of years. But now you've got the left making the argument that they want to, in Colorado, they want to tax overtime or they want to tax tips. So, it's just a fundamental difference in the view of government.
Yeah, well, explain that to me, though, is the idea that we need to make the capital gains tax cuts permanent, but the average working person, the person that would actually directly benefit from no taxes on tips and no taxes on overtime, those are temporary. Doesn't it seem that you're playing favorites, that we have to insulate the people that are on the upper end of the income spectrum, those that are already insulated, and that you're going to leave the others out to be a political tool later on? I agree with the no tax on tips and no tax on overtimes, but I disagree with the idea that talking it as a selling point to bring value to the Colorado voter, yet the fact that it wasn't permanent. I mean, you could have changed it and made the others temporary and done this one as permanent. You had the power.
Bill, I get it. I understand what you're saying, but there wasn't a single Democrat who voted in the House of Representatives. Not one Democrat voted to not have tax on tips or to not have tax on overtime. With respect, though,
I don't care. You guys have enough numbers. You guys can get that through regardless. If you have all the Republicans vote through it, you don't need a Democrat vote. I don't care if the Democrats support it or not. That seems irrelevant.
Well, okay, but then why are you? What gives you then the right to argue it should have been made permanent when your party didn't even choose?
Hold on, whoa.
Party.
Stop, Jeff.
The party
stop.
you
Hang
defend.
on. Wait,
stop. Bill,
no,
the party you
Jeff,
defend.
Jeff,
Bill,
stop.
the party you
no,
defend.
Jeff,
how about that?
Excuse me. We need to be accurate here. I am not a registered member of any party, and just to put a pin on this, I haven't been for over 25 years. For 25 years, I've been unaffiliated. Now, again, I'm going to set the record straight because we have not had this conversation. And I'm not going to sit here and hold you responsible for being wrong because we have not had this conversation. But I was at once,
Bill.
and again, no, Jeff, with respect, okay? Hang on. You need to understand where I came from before you sit here and impugn me on the air. I was a registered Republican. I left the Republican Party. I've never been a Democrat. While it is convenient to paint me as a liberal or a Democrat, it is inaccurate and unfair. So the question I've got, and I'm talking here about the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, which is about working people, which is something that you're trumpeting. And I am agreeing with you on the Republican platform. The question I have is of priorities. You prioritize, and the rest of the GOP, the cuts for the millionaires and billionaires and the people that are insulated on that end of the income spectrum, and you left the other ones at the bottom out to dry because their tax cuts expire. I don't like that.
All right, let's give Jeff a chance to respond. Representative Crank.
Yeah, Bill, I mean, first of all, if I called you the worst word in the world and I called you a Democrat in your mind, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, how about this? I'll rephrase it. The party that you continue to defend day in and day out.
That's also
and so
inaccurate.
I'll just
that's
point out,
again,
we don't
also
have,
inaccurate.
Is that accurate?
Bill,
no, it's not.
Let him finish. All right, Representative,
can't he at
please.
least be accurate?
All right. Okay. Representative Crank.
I will be accurate. It's the party that you defend day in and day out. And that's what you're doing right here is you're defending a bunch of people. Yes, you are. You're defending a party that fought against tax cuts for working people. They fought against it. That's what the Democrats did. They didn't want any of this tax relief to begin with. And now you're criticizing the Republicans because we tried to fit some tax relief in for the working men and women of this country. And they voted against it, and we voted for it. And that's the real reality, and that's the bottom line. I mean, I've heard this the whole time on the big, beautiful bill. I get Democrats talking about, it was this happened and this happened. And half the stuff they talk about, they're lying about. But then we go to things like, we increased defense spending by $150 billion in this bill. Republicans generally agree with that. Democrats didn't. But would you have voted for the big, beautiful bill? I don't know, Bill. But how about the fact that we increased base allowance for housing for our soldiers? Every Democrat who voted against the big, beautiful bill voted against increasing base allowance housing increase for our men and women of the military. They got to own their votes. They can't have it both ways, and neither can you, Bill.
I'm not having it both ways. I'm criticizing
yes,
the priorities. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
With respect, Jeff, you need to go back and listen to the show. You can listen this week and find our discussion about Mike Johnston and the budget in Denver. Go back and look at how I've criticized Colorado Democrats in this special session, coming with new funding. No, you talk to me about defending a party, and I'm not defending that party. It's easy to label me that way, but that's inaccurate.
Would you have voted for the big, beautiful bill if you were in Congress, Bill?
No, probably not based on things like what I'm out. Hang on, wait.
Vote, Bill.
No, hang on. I am owning the vote if you'll let me finish the sentence based on the idea of the priorities. The fact that if I'm sitting there and I'm a member of Congress and you're asking me to prioritize tax cuts for things like capital gains and I'm not going to permanently make the no tax on tips or no taxes on overtime, no.
But Bill,
I'm going to focus on the other end of it, and I'm sorry that that's imperfect.
But because it's not perfect, you wouldn't have supported it? I mean, what Jeff Crank delivered and what Republicans delivered was tax relief for everybody, whether it's capital gains taxes or no tax on tips. They deliver tax relief. And so because it's not permanent, you'd rather have working class continue to pay taxes on their tips?
No, what I would do is I would go back and I would have changed the bill. It's not that hard because Jeff's part of the process that has the ability to change it. Bill. It's not as if this bill came down from Mount Sinai on a bunch of stone tablets.
Jeff Crank.
Well, Bill, here's the reality. Democrats, I get it. You don't want to defend them, though you are defending their vote when you defend voting against the big, beautiful bill.
That's a wrong binary choice,
yes,
but continue.
Are.
No, I'm not.
Bill, of course you are.
No, I'm
yes,
not.
Yes, you are. It was a vote, yes or no. You couldn't say, well, gee, I wish it was better this way or that way. If you were a member of Congress, you vote yes or you vote no.
But I'm not defending their vote. But I'm not defending their vote as you're characterizing it. That's where I'm pushing back.
But you just said you'd vote no.
Hang on a sec. I would vote no, and I outlined why, but I'm not defending the Democrats on all their objections as to why.
Well, that's fair.
I have this objection. And there were other Republicans that had other objections.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, Bill, there's things in the big, beautiful bill I didn't like. I didn't like the SALT exemption, but they had to do it to get the votes to pass because we had Democrats in Congress who refused to vote for a bill that provided tax relief for, no tax on tips. We had Democrats who refused to work with us. So, and here's the last thing I'd point out. The people that voted against that in Congress, they had several years. They had 4 years to do whatever they wanted, and they chose not to make permanent cuts to tax on tips or permanent cuts to tax on overtime because they want more money coming into the federal government, and that's a reality.
Well, and Representative Crank, I think that's confirmed by what you see with Democrat leadership here in Colorado.
Yeah,
they've never cut taxes ever. at any point once we have record spending, we have record taxation on the on Coloradans, and so.
And they're coming back during the special session trying to
increase taxes.
Spending again.
That's
and
right.
We pilloried them, myself included, on the show.
I understand the critique that, gosh, maybe we should have made this permanent, but I still think the big, beautiful bill is delivering for people. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but it is a heck of a lot better than what you get when Democrats are in control, and the best example of that is what's happening at the state capitol. Representative Crank, you've been incredibly generous with your time.
Yes,
I'll give you the final word.
Especially with me, sir.
Yeah, okay, Bill, let's go back to the days where we stood and took pictures together and smiled and all of that. Look, I get it. I understand what you're saying. You've been critical of Democrats, and I'll praise you for that. You're critical of some folks when they're wrong. I get it. But the reality is, too, when we vote in Congress, we have a yes or a no. We can't say, I wish the bill were better. Okay, I wish the bill were better, but you either vote yes or you vote no at the end of the day. So I get it. But look, this special session, the Democrats are doing it. They're trying to do a bait and switch. They're trying to blame Republicans in Washington for the failures that they've had, the overspending that they've had, and the people should not let them get away with it.
Now, let me close this on a nice note here. Congressman Crank, I agree with you. I thank you so much for the time, and you are 110% right that the Democrats here in Colorado are wrong because their profligate spending got us to a budget deficit of somewhere between 600 and 700 million. Then coming and crying crocodile tears about the big, beautiful bill has now got us at $1 billion budget deficit. You guys overspent. They need to own that. And you know, Jeff, you're also saying, I have a luxury that you don't have. You are right. You had to vote for the bill one way or another. Because I can sit here on this radio show and you've sat behind this microphone as well, I have the luxury of pointing out that I want the no tax on tips and I want the other things to be changed. I have that luxury that in times when you're right in Congress, you may not be afforded that luxury. And I am taking that luxury and I appreciate it, and I appreciate the willingness to engage on it intellectually. Next time we see a man, smiles and we'll hang out and we'll take pictures. I got no animosity, but this has been fun.
Okay, it sounds like we're going to go to lunch later today.
Absolutely,
or something.
man. I'd be happy to.
All right.
Just don't throw a French fry at me.
Sounds good.
That's Representative Jeff Crank, a famed radio host as well. He gets it. He likes to have fun. And you can follow him on X at Jeff Crank. He's doing a wonderful job for the people of the 5th District of Colorado. In fact, endorsed again by President Donald Trump. Jeff Crank, thank you for your time this morning, Congressman.
I can't thank you enough, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, we'll continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
figured with the Democrats looking
Absolutely,
for more
man.
money,
You
we
want to
do
get
some
to my
begging.
soul, the Temptations, baby.
Really? This is such a
Absolutely, some of the
surprise.
best music out there.
Oh, absolutely. This is wonderful. Now, how'd you discover Temptations?
My
Who
mom.
introduced you to Mom?
Yeah,
Oh,
my mom used to listen to them.
Shout out. Yes,
And
Mom.
I went and saw the Temptations.
No.
And I've seen them play. And the funny thing
Yeah.
is, they're like on the 5th version of the
Yeah,
last
exactly.
guy that
Yeah,
was
it's
there.
like- yeah.
But the play,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Temptations
yes.
play is so good,
Yes,
dude.
it is. Now, this one was written by a Motown writing conglomerate group that wrote a lot of other Motown hits. Smokey Robinson, though, as the lead singer of Temptations, was the lead writer. He was upset when this came in and they wanted them to record it. He had a battle with the record label, and they released one that he wrote before they released this. His song flopped. This was a huge hit.
Huge
After
hit.
that, he shut up. Yeah.
So good. Well, speaking of what's happening down at the state capitol, we just wrapped up with Representative Jeff Crank. Are Republicans in Congress to blame for the $1 billion deficit here in Colorado? Representative Crank saying no, but we're going to go straight down to the Capitol to get an update on what happened yesterday. Joining us now, State Representative Jarvis Caldwell. Good morning, Representative. Thanks for giving us an update.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, we heard it was a long day yesterday. Give us a little insight on what happened.
Yeah, well, so what I want to say to the people of Colorado is just, hold on to your wallets, because anytime the legislature's in session, you can bet it's going to cost you money, especially here in Colorado. And so what happened yesterday was all the bills got introduced. I think there was roughly around like 30 bills, and they got rushed straight into committee. And of course, the tactics that the majority does, they took most of the Republican bills that focused on cutting spending and putting more money back into your wallets. Those all got pushed over to the State Affairs Committee, which is notoriously known as the Kill Committee. And they just rushed them through one after the other and killed them. And so that's where we were. And myself and Minority Leader Puglisi, we had a bill that focused on the taxpayer bill of rights, and that bill died a fiery death, as expected.
And so what are you guys expecting today?
So today we're supposed to be doing floor work. So the bills that got rushed through yesterday, the ones that actually made it through and passed, they're going to bring us in, and then we're going to have debate on those bills. The big thing for me is that, I think the people of Colorado, and I hear this all the time, is they want us to come together, sit down together at the table and figure out solutions. But I can tell you right now, that is not what happened for the special session. We didn't even know most of the bills until kind of last minute. And if you look at the bills on the website, out of 30, maybe 2 or 3 are actually bipartisan. But the majority leadership, they didn't sit down with us and say, okay, what are your ideas? And so what you're getting is not bipartisan bills. What you're getting is very partisan, one-sided bills that are going to increase costs.
It's a Democrat agenda. It's a Democrat effort to continue to push higher and higher taxes upon you. Look, everything is more expensive in Colorado for a reason. You have one party in control, and they believe that government should have your money, the power to solve all the problems that we're facing. It just doesn't work. Representative Caldwell, final question. I know you've got to run, and we've had a busy morning. How long is this going to last? When should the special session wrap up?
Well, so what we're hearing, again, because there's not a lot of communication from the majority, we're hearing through the grapevine that it's going to be 5 days. I believe the first indication was supposed to be 3 days, but it looks like it's going to be 5 days. It's $33,000 a day, roughly, to hold a special session. And because we had budget issues in the regular session this year, the majority party actually didn't budget for this special session happening, even though they pretty much knew it was going to end up happening. And so we're going to have to find over $100,000 on top of the $1.2 billion that we're trying to find on top of that. So we didn't even budget for this.
Well, it's not surprising. They're not budgeting. I think
so surprised.
They ran out of money earlier in the session. They've run out of money now. Oh, and we didn't even budget for the meeting that we're having to discuss the fact we ran out of money. That's Representative Jarvis Caldwell. one of the very best we have down at the Colorado State Capitol. Representative, thank you for your time this morning.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, let's talk Mountain High Appliance. Get to Mountain High Appliance now for their huge summer clearance blowout sale at all their locations, including their Denver Clearance Center. Check out their display models, closeouts, and scratch and dents from brands like GE, LG, Bosch, and more. Enjoy their special financing options and price match guarantee. Experience the difference today, and when you think appliances, think locally owned Mountain High Appliance. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. here. I figured we'd explore this a bit.
This is Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers. So what's happening is Friday, Bill.
See, I gave him PTSD.
Yeah, Bill made me listen to ska for 4 hours because he knows I hated it. And then he's saying, well, this Friday we'll listen to the music that Jeff actually likes. And
it's only fair.
The story behind this is this one hit me in middle school, and it was the first song where, like, you have, like, a deep, like, whoa, this song goes way deeper than just kind of, like, happy music.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it takes you to a place of pain, and, like, you understand, like, why he wrote it, because his friends were all overdosing on heroin, and you're like,
this
it's
is
like
a
my
harsh
mind
one.
went, was like,
yeah, this is a harsh one. Now, John Frusciante has rejoined the Chili Peppers as Blood Sugar Sex Magic. And I've talked to you before about this. Rick Rubin discovers this in a book of poetry, a notebook that Anthony Kiedis has. It's not in his lyrics. They're taking a break, and Rick just starts paging through some stuff. He finds this, and he comes to Kiedis and says, dude, this we got to do this. And Anthony's like, this isn't a song. This is not supposed to be performed. And Rick sits there and works on him and works on him. And eventually he gets it to Anthony feels comfortable coming and bringing it to the rest of the band. And they fell in love with it. This is in part about the heroin death of friends, and especially Hillel Slovak, one of the founding members of Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is a tragedy wrapped up in a melody. Yeah, this is a beautiful song. Oh, this is amazing. Partied with the Chili Peppers. Yeah, during the Higher Ground. Flea did a backflip off of my friend's car. Yeah, we were drinking in the parking lot. Yeah, got to hang out with them one night. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. They were crazy. Again, this is a Higher Ground. This is before they do this album. Yeah. This is such a good album.
I'm just amazed. There's so many elements of you that are so funny.
I know.
You partied with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I did.
And Flea, who's featured in Back to the Future as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When they were young. Yes. They came out and they partied with us in the parking
goodness. We're having fun. Thank you to everybody that's participating, and we'll be continuing. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk